Hello everyone, welcome to the channel, and welcome to our first year summary of the Daily Do. If you're new here, we've been playing Stardew Valley every day since January 2024. Every day in game is a day in real life, so it's even lined up Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. The day in game is lined up with the day that we release in real life. It's fantastic. It's a lovely lineup there. I just couldn't not do it. And it was suggested that we do one of these. These are pretty popular on YouTube. I've seen quite a few of them myself, and we're going to go in and summarize our first year in game for you folks, especially if you're new here. It just helps along, give you a little bit of a reminder of what's going on, what we've already done, and what we've achieved in our first year. Good summary for everybody. And this was suggested by Random Gameplay Shortcuts 5909, so thank you very much. I'm hoping we can make these summaries perhaps after every year in Stardew and see where we end up. But without further ado, let's hop right in. So of course we start the game. We all know how we start the game. We get a beautiful little farm bestowed upon us by our grandfather. We have a beautiful little letter that we pull out at our desperate and depressing desk job. And of course we decide, you know what? Screw this. We're out. We're out of there. We're going to Grandpappy's shack, cabin in the woods. And we're going to make ourselves a little farm. So the first few days we spend, we meet a few people. We, of course, meet Mayor Lewis popping up on our homestead, telling us, hello, good day, good sir. And, we meet new people. We meet the townsfolk. We work on cleaning up the farm and planting some crops so we can make some money. So that was really episode 1, 2, 3, and 4. I mean, in 4 we started going around to and giving gifts to folks, because I've almost got 200 hours in this game, like 70 hours in another previous game, and I did not befriend the townsfolk. So we got to do it this time. I got to be buddy with them. We have achievements to get, things to do. Now, in episode 5, we were rolling around. We found ourselves in the mine. We unlocked the community center, and we even found our final Stardew Valley resident, Elliot. So we had found everybody by this point in time. It was fantastic. In day 6, we meet the resident Pelican Town wizard. So the Stardew Valley wizard, the big man himself, and he shares his potion with us. And it unlocks the ability. We learned the secrets of the forest. And we are able to now understand the Junimos. And we unlock the community center bundles. And we can start restoring the community center to its former glory. The next few days are spent doing some pretty basic things. Day 7, we sold some crops and we planned a tree farm. In day 8, we planted some beans and went mining. And day 9, we ended up getting some new seeds from the museum. We mined and even did some fishing, so some really basic things, but starting on the museum collection. So that was really exciting. On day 10, we finished the foraging bundle and we planted some new seeds, and we also got to adopt a dog for our farm, and we named him Oregano. So we've got Oregano on the farm now living with us. On day 11, we found Robin's axe that was hiding in the forest, and we did some more fishing. On day 12, we went mining to finish a help wanted quest from Clint, and only just managed to finish the delivery before the end of the day. On day 13, we had the egg festival for our first time, and of course we got some strawberry seeds, because those are the best thing to get at the egg festival. And, may or may not have taken the fun out of hunting for eggs from the children, because we are bad people. But hey, listen, I can do what I want here. It's my establishment. Go away. In day 14, after riding our victory from the day before, we spent our time ordering crops and foraging for spring forageables. Over the next about week or so, we ended up spending time fishing for Willie, dropping off things at the community center, giving people more gifts, doing some mining and planting, and then putting down some torches. Really some basic general tasks as we continue forward. But that brought us all the way up to episode 21, where we went fishing for help wanted quest for Gus. And we also went to see the traveling cart for the first time to check out their wares. Over the next few days, we did some stuff preparing for summer, preparing for the new season as spring was rounding out. So on day 22, we ended up breaking open our geodes and we played some Prairie King. On day 23, we went and delivered our gold parsnips to the community center, cleaned up more farmland before summer. On day 24, we harvested and sold some crops as we prepared for summer. But we also had the flower dance as well, where all of the villagers came together in the woods and danced to their heart's content. And unfortunately, because I was the newbie, the new guy down the road living in the cabin, the shack, nobody liked me. Nobody wanted to dance with me. So it was sad. Sadness. I cried. Over the next 3 days, we cleaned up, played some Prairie King, celebrated some birthdays, and did a little bit of mining. And then on day 28, we had our very last day of spring for year 1, so we had to do a few more bits of cleanup and did a couple more tasks around the farm to make sure we were ready for summer. Of course, day 29 on the farm, so this is our first day of summer. We started summer. Of course, it means we were planting an abundance of crops and preparing for the season ahead. Of course, doing all of this work, watering, tilling the land, planting seeds, very, very exhausting stuff, you know? But of course, we don't have that much money to buy all of these seeds, so we didn't really have a whole lot to plant, but we still planted what we could in order to get the season started off right. Now, the following day, we did some mining and we got ourselves some coffee beans, and we began very, very quickly on our own coffee empire journey. On day 31, we did some more sorting and building management, and we finally popped down a few extra chests to get our belongings in better order after all of the chaos we've been dealing with and our very small inventory thus far. On days 32 and 33, we did a little bit of fishing and mining, and we also did a quest for the wizard. On day 34, we went mining for Clint, who, by the way, I think we've discovered he doesn't love us or the gifts that we give him, and we don't really like Clint here anymore. And we also harvested some hot peppers for the first time, so one of our first reproducing vegetables that will continue to produce things as the season goes on. We also did some fishing, and, a very poignant part of the series was when we threw our sword into the water, and that happened, and we lost our weapon and had to buy a new one. So, a little sad about that, but it is what it is. Now, that's what we get for being silly. On day 35, we got our new fishing rod, our upgraded rod, and had to spend the day testing it out. So a lot of fishing and catching new stuff as we continue to up our fishing skill for the first time again. Didn't really do it at all in my last playthroughs. On day 36, we planted more melons, did some fishing, and got ourselves our replacement sword after our debacle a couple days ago, and went into the mines to do a quest for Mayor Lewis. Day 37 consisted of buying more crops, making some more sprinklers, and accidentally destroying several melon crops. On day 38, we went mining and had a terrible time. Despite it raining and not needing to water our crops, we actually ended up completely drained of energy pretty well on the first level that we went to, and honestly, it ended up being a fairly uneventful day. On day 39, we experienced our very first luau, and the governor came to visit and tried our soup, and let's be real, of course I put in some top tier produce that man absolutely adored. Day 40, we went mining and got ourselves some shells. On day 41, we actually had a lot happen. We experienced one of Emily's cutscenes as well as one of George's cutscenes too. We got some honey, a crab pot, and went fishing and did some gift giving, so it was quite busy as we went along. And then the following day, on day 42, we got another cutscene with Emily, and then we went fishing and added some bait to the crab pots, and they actually function now, so look at us go. On day 43, we landed ourselves another cutscene, but this time with Alex, and it surprised me since the man literally pays me no heed most days and tells me to skedaddle. We also decided to go really hard into melons and purchasing and planting 40 seeds to make an abundance of money before the end of the seasons to put us in a good spot for fall. On day 44, we got ourselves a crab from the crab pot. So, you know, what a crab pot's supposed to do. We also had a cutscene with Abigail, bought and planted some more corn, and looked around for Mayor Lewis's shorts, and ended the episode with a quick visit from a fairy friend who spiced up some magic on our melon plants. On day 45, we saw our first train, which we may or may not have gotten hit by. Don't worry, we're good, we're still fine. For whatever reason, it did not kill us. And we also found Mayor Lewis's shorts hidden away in, you know, definitely not Marnie's home. And we finished up a few bundles in the community center as well. The following day, we focused on gift giving, buying and planting some seeds, and then going fishing. On day 47, we had a cutscene with Gus. Immediately in the morning, he gave us a present, nice beautiful jukebox. And then we had a cutscene with Penny and George. We also upgraded our pickaxe and donated some things to the museum. And then we visited the spa to regain our energy after we had blown it on watering crops, so we could end the day fishing and cutting down trees. On day 48, we ran around town, but most importantly, we bought our very first coop from Robin. So over the next few days, she ended up doing the construction on that, and we were well on our way to unlocking chickens and our first animals on the farm. But during the day, we also went to try and get some blowfish because we need them for the community center. And we ended up planting some more crops that we had purchased from Pierre earlier in the day. Over the next 4 days, we ended up doing a lot of fishing. And I do mean a lot of fishing. We were trying to get some of the fish for the community center bundle. So we ended up catching a sturgeon. We were trying to get the sunfish. And we ended up catching a pufferfish on day 52. We also, on the same day, day 52, we actually purchased 3 chickens as well, named them generally after spices, except for one of them, whose name is Malika, but don't ask me why. We actually rounded out those few days and passed out for the very first time on day 52 because of our shenanigans. On day 53, we went to Robin and got her started building a silo, and we chopped down a bunch of trees to clean up some more room for fall. Day 54, we got the last fish we could this season, the shad. We also opened up our geodes and did a little bit of mining, all after having spent $600 on a singular cherry. Day 55 was an amazingly fruitful day. We had our big melon harvest and made an abundance of cash before fall. We also managed to go 5 more levels down in the mine, and the silo was finished too, so things were really looking good for fall. On day 56, it marked the final day of summer, and we got a visit from the Moonlight Jellies. We also spent the day getting hay and working around home preparing for the new season, and also accidentally dropped off our pickaxe to Clint for another upgrade. But hey, who needs a pickaxe for the beginning of fall? On day 57, the first day of fall, we planted 35 cranberries because those bad boys are going to make us a ton of money. We planted some other things, of course, but mainly cranberries. We also made an absolutely ridiculous amount of money from selling off the extra forgeables that we had been hoarding over the last 2 seasons. So there was just money sitting in chests, and I was being silly. But hey, we liked the cash dollars. It was a good way to make cash. On day 58, we planted more crops and found ourselves with an additional bulletin board in town. We also got our new pickaxe from Clint and did a little bit of fishing. Over the next few days, we had some cutscenes with the town folks, and we focused quite heavily on fishing again, as well as preparing for a new barn. So we cut down a bunch of trees, and we also caught fish like the walleye, the tiger trout, and the eel all in one day. We also dropped them all off at the community center as well. And then come day 63, we went and gave Clint our axe to level up to copper, and we also bought an ancient seed for the first time from the traveling cart for a steal of a deal. And then we went and caught a ghost fish. The next 2 days were spent running around between the different shops, collecting our upgraded axe, and finding Linus's basket and having a cutscene with him. Between day 66 and 67, we did a couple of quests for Marnie, but also bought our first 2 cows, Salt and Pepper. We also went mining and found a diamond, and we got a new fishing rod and picked up our upgraded axe from Clint. We also managed to get into this secret forest and get a sardine. So now that we've got that upgraded axe, we can cut down hardwood. On day 68, it finally rained again, and we managed to catch ourselves a catfish and went into the mine and went down a whopping 10 levels. Oh my goodness, that was such an efficient day. On day 69, we found a plum for the community center and immediately messed up by giving one to Abigail, who hated it and whose birthday it was. So go us, we do good work here sometimes. We also bought and planted some pumpkins and then fished for trash and sold a whole lot of stuff at the end of the day. In the next 2 days, we had a few conversations with Linus. We bought and planted some more fairy flower seeds, gave Jody some dinner, and certainly did not run into anyone skinny dipping in the lake. On day 72, we got to set up shop in the Stardew Valley Fair and win that shit with ease, as Mayor Lewis certainly was not biased towards my stuff at all after I tried to maybe give him some money. But we also got our first star drop, and now we got a little bit of extra energy to help us through the days. The next couple of days were spent dropping things off at the community center and even repairing the boiler room, which repaired the mine service, so now we can travel around in style with speed and efficiency. The next few days we did a couple big things. Number 1, we donated a bunch of things to the museum after opening up some geodes, and we planned a full-blown orchard. We also managed to get our copper trash can from Clint, bought the upgraded backpack, and went down a few more levels in the mine. And we bought some new seeds, opened more geodes, and got some new sprinklers. Day 79 marked the release of the 1.6 update. It was finally here. We've got it. So the next few days we ended up experiencing quite a few things that were new in the update, and finding things and talking to people, just experiencing the new update without having read too much about it. On day 81 we actually found our first skill book at Mystery Box, and we did other normal things too, like chasing after more bug meat for Willy. Days 82 and 83, we had a massive harvest on the farm and we made a bunch of money. And then we also went to just try and wrap up Willy's bug meat quest by hunting more bugs in the mines. We also wrapped up those 2 days with Spirit's Eve in Pelican Town and kind of ran around in there a little bit, doing the mazes and getting a golden pumpkin. Between day 84 and 85, we experienced the last day of fall and the first day of winter. Finally finishing up the craft room as well and seeing a spooky, sneaky friend for the first time. Over the next few days, we went and got some hardwood for Robin and saw the quarry for the first time. We also found the golden scythe. We also upgraded our coop, gave some gifts away, and cleared the rest of the quarry out. On day 89, we made a mayo and cheese makers for the first time. And made mayo and cheese for the first time. This also, of course, led to me, taking advantage of the 1.6 update the way that you're supposed to, by drinking mayonnaise. We also ended up on the same day going and visiting the bookseller to see what the deal was there and what sort of books were for sale, and oh boy, were they pricey. Day 90, we delivered some hardwood for Robin's quest, bought a goat and a duck, and gave our watering can to Clint for upgrades. Day 91 actually ended up being a big one for us. We dropped some stuff off at the community center, reached level 100 in the mines, and leveled up our mining and fighting skills. We also got visited by a witch at the end of the day, which, I think we all know what that means. Void chickens. On day 92, we definitely saw our little void chicken for the first time, a little small friend, and we ran around a little bit before the winter festival. which we then went to and demolished that fishing competition. Because we are the fishing legend of Pelican Town. So after day 92, we actually now had decided on a path that we wanted to use around the farm. So we started putting that down a little bit, made some plans, and we ended up doing a little bit of, tool exchange with Clint, picking up our copper and water can and giving him our pickaxe to upgrade to the golden version. We also went fishing and did that over the next few days. There was Squid Fest 2, which was less than, I don't know, it wasn't, it was a thing. Again, following all of that, the next few days, we ended up doing, again, a little bit more exchange with Clint on our tools, upgrading some of those a little bit. And then we cut down more trees and got Robin to upgrade our home as we work towards getting the biggest house that we can get, because we want our grandfather to love us after year 2. We also chopped a bunch more wood and fixed that bridge on the beach that we can now cross over to. On day 100 marked our, 100th episode, and we collected all of our wild seeds and proceeded to turn them all into more wild seeds and sell the rest of the forageables for fall. And did a big replant of those, went to the night market again, and caught the night squid and spookfish. And of course, due to poor time management and greed, we ended up passing out before making it back to our bed. On day 101, we built the fish pond with Robin, did a quest for Clint, and then went to the night market for the final time to fish once more. On day 102, our void chicken finally hatched. We also put our dino egg that we had collected a little while ago in the incubator. And somehow we managed to go down the last 15 levels in the mine all at once. And we unlocked the skull key. On day 103, we put enough things in the museum to unlock our main man, Krobus. Of course, it was the result of opening up some geodes and mystery boxes with Clint over the last little while, but we don't talk about Clint. Clint is, he bad. Over the next few days, we finally visited Krobus. We saw him for the first time in flesh and blood, if he has that, I don't know. We ended up trying to search for ectoplasm, and we were just very unsuccessful. Over the last several days, the wizard wanted it, and I could not get it. It was just simply not possible. But out of all of it, we did make some worm bins, so, it wasn't all that bad. So on day 106, it was a planning episode, basically, because we were a week away from spring coming along, and we needed to move some farm buildings, set up some sprinklers, and just do a general plan. On day 107, we actually ended up finishing the pantry, and, that means that we go in that greenhouse. So that was lovely. That means that we can start our ancient fruits at this point and plant out-of-season crops however and whenever we want. On day 108, we actually got to move those farm buildings around, which was lovely. I was so happy to finally move the coop and the barn and give them a little enclosure and a little space for them so that they can roam free throughout, I did maybe make a mistake or two along the way, but we're good. It's fine. It's good. No complaints. On day 109, we experienced the Feast of the Winter Star, giving a gift to Haley and receiving our gift from our bestie, Gus. We also started sorting a little bit of fencing on the farm as well. Over the next 3 days, we kind of wrapped up winter and wrapped up our first year by dealing with, paths and fencing and doing a little bit of tilling. I did do a little bit of pre-tilling, but of course that was silly of me because it didn't matter. And we ended up doing just a little bit more reorganization as well with some chests and doing some quests as well. So I do hope you enjoyed this little summary of our first year in Stardew Valley. It was a lot of fun to put together. It's been a lot of fun playing the game so far and continue to learn from you as we go through. If you folks did enjoy, don't forget to like, subscribe if you're new. And as always, thank you for stopping by. Happy you did. And for Stardew Valley's Daily Do, I'll see you tomorrow.